What's going on, guys? It's Patrick here, and today, guys, we are back at it with another top 5. Now, today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 Easter eggs of Call of Duty Zombies. The last month, I've been going through a lot of the maps and redoing some of these old Easter eggs, and it's gotten me wanting to make this video because there are so many great Easter eggs. It's one of the main staples of Call of Duty Zombies, and I thought what we would do is look at the top 5. So how I'm going to be ranking this video is looking at just like how fun the steps are to do, how challenging they are to do, as well as the reward you actually get for completing the Easter egg. Now, if you guys could please leave a like on this video, let's go for 115 likes. But other than that, guys, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, this is going to be Gorod Krovi. Now, I gotta be honest that this number 5 pick was very difficult. I feel like the next 4 are a little bit more obvious choices, but this number 5 pick was between a couple maps, and I ultimately had to go with this map for a couple of reasons. Now, the first thing is that to me, Gorod Krovi was kind of like an homage to the old World at War maps, like just a very old school themed, obviously like the PPSH, as well as I've said this before, that it's the same style of map as ZHouse. There's 3 different areas you have to activate, and once you do that, you can go to Pack-a-Punch. It's just a more complex ZHouse, basically. And it just had that like World at War feel to me, that it kind of like, it was like, this was the Easter egg for World at War. But furthermore, let's actually look at this Easter egg, okay? So, number 1, the steps. The first step was probably one of the hardest steps we've ever seen in zombies, the valves. At first, nobody knew how to do it. It stumped the community, and it took us a long time to figure it out. But now that it's been figured out, it's not an issue. And to me, that is the perfect Easter egg step. Really difficult to find, but now that it's out, it's not too much of a hassle. From here, you've got the challenges, and these challenges are very difficult, and that's why I like them. A lot of zombies Easter eggs are they're kind of easy, and it just requires like luck, like getting the right hit from the box and stuff like that. But this, it actually requires skill and coordination with the team. It's even harder by yourself. Moving on, we get like a lot of cool, just like storyline stuff with Gersh and Sophia and all this stuff. Then we've got Nikolai mech suit and a giant dragon to fight. And from there, we beat the Easter egg, kill Nikolai, get the soul, send them up to somewheres that we don't know, figure out who Dr. Monty is, and we get a sneak peek at what Revelations is going to be. All in all, this was a huge Easter egg. Moving down to our number 4 spot, this is going to be Moon. Now, before I completed this Easter egg, I absolutely hated this map. There was just nothing good about it to me. But as I've kind of played it finally with Codename Pizza, I gotta be honest, the Easter egg has totally changed my perception of how good a map this is. And that is because I think this Easter egg is so good. So the steps to me are, I like them because they make sense. Everything is like very logical, and it's like, okay, you gotta like teleport these things up to the moon, and you gotta get this orb, and you gotta put it into the thing, and then you get Samantha. And for those players that used to play back in the day, Samantha was like this huge mystery. No one knew who she was, what was going on with her, and finally we actually get to see her, then Richtofen swaps souls with her, and we blow up the Earth. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy Easter egg. Now, my only complaint with this Easter egg is that a lot of it is based on luck, that you have to let the Tunnel 6 get destroyed, and that just comes down to getting lucky. That just comes down to getting lucky. It can happen on round 8, or you might have to wait all the way up to round 23 for it to happen. I just think that is really ridiculous. Other than that, you do have to get lucky with box hits as well. That's not as big of a problem, but to me, that was the biggest issue, just getting lucky with a lot of the stuff. At number 3, we've got a pick that probably a lot of you guys are going to be surprised with. It's Origins. So Origins, for those of you who don't know, is my favorite map of all time in Call of Duty Zombies. From the staffs, the setting, the original characters coming back, everything to me about that map is perfect. So why isn't it at the number 1 spot for Easter eggs? Well, the big thing comes down to, honestly, this Easter egg is a little bit tedious. Now again, the map is my favorite. I absolutely love it. And even the Easter egg itself, I think, is amazing. It's at number 3 of all time. But I've got some issues with it, okay? And that is, again, as a solo player, this is like one of the most tedious Easter eggs to do ever. It's a lot of fun because Origins is fun. But just think of all the steps there are, okay? You have to build all the staffs. That's a task out of itself. Then you have to upgrade them. From there, you've got to get the little, like the Ordnance Strike, the G Strike, and you have to throw it into that hole. But first, you have to press the button. If you're playing solo, you basically have to do that step perfectly, or it's just not going to work. Like that is just, it is so difficult to do. You have to be perfect. All that combined with like the buildables, the next couple steps, like Skewer the Winged Beast, all this different stuff, it really just makes for what I think is a little bit too long of an Easter egg. Now, when you beat it, most satisfying thing ever. Doing it with the team is much better as well. But personally, that's just the little issues that I've had with it, is that it's just the tediousness of it will take away from you, okay? People love to do the Origins Easter egg, but nobody wants to do the Origins Easter egg every week. You know what I mean? It's like a special event, and it's the biggest Easter egg. It's probably one of the most challenging just because it takes so long. And, you could argue that that's good, but I just think for most players, that's going to take away from it a little bit. Either way, I love Origins. It's amazing, and it does come in at number 3. Number 2, Der Eisendrache. So when this map dropped, I had actually had the opportunity of playing it a whole week early, not through like the Treyarch recording events, but me and a couple other YouTubers actually donated to the Call of Duty Endowment Fund, and Treyarch actually invited us out to the studio to play DLC 1 early. It was an amazing experience, and I remember the first time playing this map thinking, confirmed this is going to be a classic. Like, I could just tell from day one, even before day one, that this map is amazing. The Easter egg is honestly a work of art. It really is flawless, if I'm being completely honest. The way everything works, it's just perfect. It's challenging, but not too challenging. There's a lot of steps. You need knowledge, but if you're smart, you can do them very, very easily. So solo with a team, it doesn't matter. You build your bow, step 1. You upgrade it, and then from there, basically, you just go back in time. You do all these stuff, this stuff with the symbols and everything, and basically, that's all there is to it. You bring Dempsey down, you do the circles, and then you've got a Keeper boss fight, which was the first boss fight we ever saw in Zombies. It was groundbreaking. It was huge. And then you blow up the moon. And that to me was like, okay, how are they ever going to top this? And I don't think they ever did top Der Eisendrache in Black Ops 3 Zombies. Gorod was amazing. Revelations was whatever. But Der Eisendrache just hit it like so much better than I could have possibly imagined. All the ties to Black Ops 1 Zombies were in there. It was just an incredible map, a very fun Easter egg to do. And again, just I think the perfect difficulty level as well between knowledge and skill. And it comes in at number 2. And before we get to number 1, I gotta do some honorable mentions because this was a difficult list to make. The first one is going to be Shangri-La, the number 1. I am not a huge fan of this, but I just know the old Zombies community absolutely loves Shangri-La, and I could definitely see why. The other one I want to do is Call of the Dead, just another classic of a map, pretty straightforward Easter egg, but it was really like the first pretty big, pretty cool Easter egg. And the last one is actually Shadows of Evil. I feel like this one is very underappreciated, and it is a lot of fun, as well as the fact that like you just kind of get to kill the Shadow Man, and there's something to me, it's just the most satisfying Easter egg to complete. I don't know what it is, but I love Shadows. But anyways, guys, coming in at our number 1 Easter egg spot, this is going to be, believe it or not, Mob of the Dead. I know I'm like the biggest Origins fanboy ever, but I swear Mob of the Dead has the greatest Easter egg of all time. So let me explain. The number 1 reason why Mob of the Dead is so just beyond every single map, I think, is because it intertwines gameplay and Easter egg so perfectly. It almost feels when you're doing the Easter egg, really like you're just playing the map. Because the steps you have to do is first get the Hell's Retriever, and then you have to fly to the bridge. From the bridge, you want to go back into Afterlife mode, and you got to go find 5 skulls around the map to get a free Blundergat. You then have to fly to the bridge 2 more times, building the plane and refueling it and all this stuff. And then from here, what you want to do is basically you just have to get the vitrolic withering and go put in the different numbers for the cellmates. Then you get 5 audio tapes, which is going to explain the Mob of the Dead like story and everything a lot more. And from there, you fly back to the bridge, fight Weasel along with a horde of Brutuses and zombies. And there are 2 different endings. The cycle continues or you break the cycle, okay? Mob of the Dead is perfect. It's a perfect Easter egg. It's not too difficult. It's not too easy. And the reward for the ending is so cool. It was the first ever game-ending Easter egg. I could go on and on and on. Not to mention that Mob of the Dead is a standalone map, okay? There's no previous maps to tie like nostalgia in. It is created in its own universe, which makes it that much more impressive that it is that good. Mob of the Dead is our #1 pick. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I really don't do a lot of top 5s anymore, but this was one I just really wanted to make. Also, feel free to go subscribe to my second channel, Top 10 Trends. We do a lot of list content. I've been posting a lot about Pokemon lately. It's also run with MC Sports Talk and Son of Mitch Show. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Peace out, you frickin' nerds.
We'd better do what your dad says. I didn't even get my turn.
Tomorrow, Eddie, you get to make the rules. I promise. Come on, Fluffy.
I wish the heroes in our stories were real, Sam.
I know what you mean. But we will make everything okay. My dad says he has a plan.